So when it comes to attraction, a very small component and part of it is what you physically look like. Now, what you look like will attract somebody to you initially, but it's not what's going to make somebody fall in love with you. It's not what's going to make somebody chase you, obsess over you, or even fantasize about you. And it's this primal urge and attraction that is the most powerful. And the good news is that there are some things that you can do that will actually facilitate this feeling in other people. Today, I'm going over some psychological tricks to make your crush obsess and fantasize about you. And if you stick around to the very end of the video, I'm actually going to share with you a psychological trick that will make her say yes to anything you ask. So the first psychological trick is stop validating her for free. You've got to make her earn the validation, all right? What happens is this: women that are attractive typically are hearing all the time from dudes, you're pretty, you're amazing, your boobs are incredible, you're simping, you're giving them likes on Instagram, you're being all simpy, right? This is free validation. It's not special, it's not engaging, it's not memorable, because all the dudes are doing it if she's an attractive girl, right? Instead, make her earn your validation. And when you do this by actually acknowledging when something actually she's done is worthy or is interesting or she sounds intelligent or she makes a good point, when you validate her for things like this automatically sets you apart from other men. It also makes her feel good about herself, because at first when somebody tells you you're pretty or you're handsome or whatever, it feels good, right? But then they keep doing it or it keeps happening, it becomes less special. It becomes less memorable. But when she actually has to earn your validation or your approval, this is powerful and makes her remember and obsess about you. The next psychological trick is be alpha vulnerable. All right, so here's the difference between alpha vulnerability and just vulnerable, right? You hear a lot of people, and women specifically, say, I want a guy who's vulnerable. Does she? Or does she want a man who's vulnerable? Because the truth is, when you're vulnerable like a woman, in terms of expressing your innermost, deepest, darkest secrets and things that happen to you, it can go a little bit dark. It also can be a bit of a buzzkill. Alpha vulnerability is basically a more playful vulnerability. You're sharing things and experiences that happen to you, but in a more uplifting and fun way. One of the mistakes a lot of guys make is that when they try to be vulnerable, they really try to unlock everything or share their deepest, darkest, most intimate secrets. When the truth is, you can do this later on in a relationship, but up front, when you're just getting to know somebody, that can actually be a little bit of a turnoff. It's oh my God, you obviously have some issues you haven't dealt with. But if you keep it a little bit more alpha, a little bit more playful, a little bit lighter, but still show that you're a vulnerable individual, this is super crazy powerful. Something else that's powerful in terms of psychological trick is your scent. All right, the way that you smell is one of the most powerful nonverbal communicating tools that you have, right? We talk a lot about the power of scent, right? And unlike sight in terms of what you look like, scent is something that lingers. It also triggers memories. And if you're somebody that smells amazing, this is something that lingers and also somebody will remember. And so what I recommend is get a signature scent that's going to be powerful without being too over the top, all right? You want to make sure less is more in terms of sprays. 3 is what I'd recommend. In terms of a recommendation for a fragrance that you and she are going to love, I would just like to talk about this real quick. Gisada. All right, this is the new Titanium. I have talked about the fragrance Gisada because I'm a huge fan of this Swiss fragrance house, all right? It's out of Switzerland. It was started by 2 brothers, and it is amazing. The power, the projection, the scent of the original Ambassador or the Ambassador Intense is insane. I've had this fragrance now for a few years. I love it. It's one of my go-tos. But recently, they came out with this, which is called Titanium. And gentlemen, oh my God, it is so... Oh, it's light, it is one of the sexiest fragrances I've ever smelled. Gisada Titanium, gentlemen, it just dropped, and this is, in my opinion, one of the sexiest fragrances out there, period. It is fresh, it is light, it is bright, but it's powerful. And that's the thing about Gisada, right? And the other thing about Gisada that I love is the price, all right? So here's the deal. Because they're direct to consumer, right, they can offer you a crazy high premium fragrance for an incredible price. The price regularly is right around that $100 price point, which is so much more affordable than a lot of these other premium brands. But in my opinion, these are super premium luxury fragrances. And right now, for a limited time, there's also going to be an Alpha M discount down below. If you use the code Alpha M20, you're going to get 20% off of your purchase. Guys, real talk, bottom line is this, all right? If you're somebody that loves smelling incredible, or you've been wearing the same fragrance for a long time and you're ready to upgrade or just change it up, or you want to add another killer panty dropper to the equation, I want you to hit that link down below and check out Jasada Titanium. If you guys haven't heard of Jasada yet, you're going to, because a lot more people are starting to get familiar with this boutique brand out of Switzerland, all right? They are amazing, and the thing that I love so much about them is that instead of going like super wide with a bunch of different fragrances, they're basically perfecting a few. And the most recent one that they literally have perfected is this one. This fragrance, in my opinion, should be selling for $200, $300, $400. That is the level and the quality and the notes of this fragrance, all right? I love it so much. The fact that it's like right at that like $100 price point, I think is insane. But with that discount code, literally, it's like a no-brainer. Guys, hit the link down below. Check out Jasada Titanium. It just dropped. It is amazing. You're gonna love it. She's gonna love it. And the thing that you're also gonna love is that discount code Alpha M20 is gonna give you 20% off of Jasada Titanium. The next psychological trick is to reject her in a playful manner. So when you're starting to get to know somebody and you're starting to build that interest, that excitement, by you being able to step back and kind of throwing out a little bit of a rejection, it's gonna basically make her want you and crave you more, because that's what happens. When we feel like we've been rejected, especially when we're starting to become attracted to somebody, it's literally like a drug that you need to get more of, right? You become almost obsessively like addicted to that feeling that you get when you're interested or you think that something's gonna work out. So by you saying something like, you're kind of not my type, or I guess this isn't gonna work out between us, or I kind of feel bad for your boyfriend, right? Or you could even call her like ugly, right? I mean, saying things in a playful manner and just letting it kind of sit there for a second, right? And watch her, watch the reaction, all right? When you say like, hey, you're not my type, she's gonna be like, wait a second, what are you talking about? Yes, I am. I'm everybody's type. Because remember, she has been told so many times how beautiful and how amazing. But by you basically saying, you know what? I have high standards and you're not meeting them, this is something that makes somebody literally desire you like crack. The next psychological trick is look more fun and exciting, right? When you see somebody on social media or you talk to somebody in person that talked about an adventure they went on, a place they went out to eat, or a vacation they took, or something they did, or friends that they were around, right? Automatically, it makes you think that they're fun and exciting. And you also think, wow, I'd really like to hang out with them a little bit more. Well, the same thing happens to her with you. If you can be the man that is more exciting, that is going places, taking chances and risks, it's incredibly powerful, because typically what you're going to find is that a lot of times when these women become obsessed with you, it's because of their ex-boyfriend or the person that they're currently with, not being the person that they envision you to be. Maybe her boyfriend is lazy. Maybe he has stopped putting in the effort, because that's the other thing. When men get in relationships, and women for that matter, a lot of times we get complacent and we get lazy. And when this happens, right, you start to look and think and fantasize about what your life would look like with somebody else, doing other things. And so if you can be that fun person that is going out and exploring and adventuring and doing things that sound fun and exciting, it automatically makes you more attractive. The next psychological trick is to pull back in terms of your affection, your attention, your interest. All right, this one, again, is incredibly powerful. If you're getting to know somebody, right, and you're starting to engage, you're starting to text with them, you're starting to go out, talk on the phone, you're running into them at school or a coworker or the gym, right? What I want you to do is pull back. If you're used to going up to them or talking to them, I want you to stop or not do the thing that you were doing for a day or two. When you're starting to engage or get to know somebody or try to attract them, right, it's almost a dance that goes on, right? You're engaging, you're talking, you're texting, you're doing all these little things. They start to get used to it. They start to enjoy it. And it starts to build that tension, that sexual chemistry, right? But when this starts to build, if you pull back, right, they're going to be like, yo, where the hell is it? I want it again. What's wrong with me? Did they find somebody else? And this is something, once again, that's going to make them obsess about you more. So if you usually run into her at the gym every single night at this time, I want you to not go. Or go a different time, or go to a different gym for a night or two. Make her think, where the hell is he? The next time she sees you, she literally is gonna run up to you and be like, where have you been? So now let's go over this little trick that my friend Marnie over at Wing Girl Method taught me about getting a woman to say yes to literally anything that you want. She learned it from a dude who had like threesomes with women, all right? It works like seriously well. The whole idea is something called open loops. where you simply say, hey, I've got an interesting idea. You can say it or you can send it in a text. And then you wait. You wait for them to respond, say, well, what is it? And you say, why don't we fill in the blank? Go out to dinner Tuesday night, or we go and make out in the car, like whatever. Literally, like you can say whatever you want. And typically what's gonna happen is this is gonna cause excitement. She's gonna get excited because it's a little bit unknown, it's mysterious, and she is going to basically be more willing or interested in doing what you're actually asking. It shows a level of confidence. It also shows a level of dominance, which is also incredibly sexy. Gentlemen, bottom line is this. It's not just about your physical appearance. If you're super good looking, does it help? Yes. But what truly attract somebody from a primal perspective in terms of obsessing about you or fantasizing about being with you is deeper than physical appearance. And if you implement the psychological tricks we talked about in today's video, she is going to be putty in your super strong and sexy calloused hands. And if you want to smell amazing, hit the link down below. Check out Jasada Titanium. Use the code ALPHAM20 to get 20% off of this panty dropper.